I'm Steve Larsen. This is Sales Funnel Radio, and this episode's gonna just totally rock. It's just pretty freaking awesome. I've spent the last 4 years learning from the most brilliant marketers today. And now I've left my 9 to 5 to take the plunge and build my $1 million business. The real question is, how will I do it without VC funding or debt, completely from scratch? This podcast is here to give you the answer. Join me and follow along as I learn, apply, and share marketing strategies to grow my online business, using only today's best internet sales funnels. My name is Steve Larsen, and welcome to Sales Funnel Radio. What's up, guys? Hey, I'm very excited for this episode, to be honest, though. What's funny is as I look back, I officially got hired by ClickFunnels 2 years ago. Almost to the day of me recording this, which is awesome. Super cool. And it's interesting to look back and realize everything that's happened. And I've had a lot of you guys come up and congratulate and stuff like that, and that means a lot, and I appreciate it. But what's been more powerful for me is to look back and to look back and see what I had to do personally to really start winning at the game. You know what I mean? One of my favorite things that was said at this last Funnel Hacking Live was by Myron Golden, which he just said he'd get on the show, which I'm very excited about. So when that happens, obviously, anyway, super stoked about that. But he said that one of the things that he did to win is he just stayed in the game long enough to just know what the game was. You know what I mean? He stayed in the game long enough to be able to actually win at the game. And sometimes people jump in like, this is a scam, right? But they were in it for like 3 months. You know what I mean? I've been going at it for like 5-6 years now, guys, and been a ton of fun. Really enjoyed it, specifically the internet game, anyway. Anyways, as I was kind of looking back, I've been thinking heavily along the time when we were broke. I mean, we were just living paycheck to paycheck. We were literally living on loans. You know what I mean? I went and and a lot of you guys know my story and the way I started. And we were getting these student loans because it was the way we were eating. And then finally I was like, man, I gotta like make some money. And so I started flipping real estate. Right. And there were some complexities with where I was living that weren't allowing how I was doing it. I was doing some double escrows and flipping it that way. It's tons of fun. Put out those street signs all over the place. Had 300 people call me in a month. And anyways, I was working my butt off. I've never really not. I just keep moving and I make mistakes of commission instead of omission. You know what I mean? And anyway, so I was sitting back and I was thinking through, and there were these times, like, guys, multiple times, and I'm sure that if you really have been wanting this, you've had the same thought. And a lot of you guys know I'm religious, and I'd be kneeling down at night praying, and like asking God, like, why am I struggling so much? Like, why? Right? Why am I struggling so much? How come I haven't made it yet? Right? How come right? And those are the questions I was asking, and it took some internal maturing for me to sit back and realize that number one, that's a stupid question to ask, and number two, what was I doing about it? And I was active. I was in motion. I was learning like crazy. I was hustling my butt off, like went and joined the army so we could eat, and had a ton of fun there and learned like crazy and a lot of self-discovery for sure. Certainly enjoyed my time there. Glad to finally be out of it, but glad that I did it though. Anyway, and I went on I had this guy tell me it was about 10 years ago. I went on a mission for my church for about 2 years, and he's a guy, we call him the mission president. He's the guy over all of us, and he always taught us this one thing, and I had this come to my mind a couple weeks ago as somebody asked me. They were considering joining the 2 Comma Club X coaching program. And it was at the Funnel Hacking Live event. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go buy your ticket for next year. Okay, it's one of the best investments you'll ever make. That event solely has changed my life. There's not a doubt in my mind. Just as far as I have a marketing degree, and 4 Funnel Hacking Live events, I can tell you I've learned way more doing that than I have the marketing degree. Not that I'm not thankful for that either, but. Anyway, but I had this idea, right? This mission president, he reached out, and when I was in that, I did a 2-year mission for my church. If you guys know what I'm talking about, it's those guys wearing the white T-shirt and ties with the name badges on bikes. I did that for 2 years, okay? And when I was 20 years old. And he always taught us that questions invite revelation. Okay, questions. Now, I understand that from a religious context, you can understand what he's teaching there. But I want to take that out of the religious context and let you know that that's still true regardless of any area of your life. Okay. And so when I was sitting down and I was thinking the question, gosh, like, why is this not working? Like, please God, like, how come I'm not making money here? Or why are we struggling so bad? Right. Why am I not making the cash? How come it's not coming in? Like, I'm serving, I'm working hard. and it's funny. It's interesting, hindsight's 2020, right? And I look back and I'm like, well, it's because I wasn't doing this. I wasn't doing that. I wasn't doing this. I wasn't doing that. Right. But one of the things that I realized though, is that questions invite revelation, right? And that is so true for every area of my life. And rather than sit back and think the question, right? How come I'm not making it? Right? Instead, I should totally have been asking the question, how do I sell this better? You see what I'm saying? Totally different question, right? And the question affects the outcome, right? So you guys know why I like putting some dubstep on, taking some caffeine, and standing in front of a whiteboard, right? It's because I'm standing up, and most of my ideas will come during that because I'm asking a question, right? But the quality of the question affects the quality of the answer. And instead of me standing back, so start asking yourself the questions that you're asking yourself, right? Become cognizant of what they are, and step back and start saying to yourself, what questions have I been asking myself, right? And if you're like, I don't know, I haven't been effective in this game, right? I don't know, how come I'm not making money here or there, right? Those are valid questions, but is it the right one? You know what I mean? And so there was somebody I was chatting with, right, at the Funnel Hacking Live event, and they were like, one of the questions that they started asking was, I'm sure some other people did this. I know, in fact, I know they did, right? And I'm not making fun of the individual at all. Anyway, I just think it's an important lesson. And as I looked back, it's one of the sole things that I have focused on, kind of almost subconsciously, right? At certain times consciously and other times subconsciously, if I ask the right question, it exposes my brain to that kind of answer, right? Meaning, how do I sell this product better? How do I make my offer better? How do I market this in a better way? How do I get right? And when I start asking those kinds of questions, I will get different answers, right? And like, Steven, duh. Well, look at what you're asking yourself, okay? And sit back and be like, am I asking a question of, anyway, let me go back to, I've already jumped around enough times, okay? Let me go back to, Funnel Hacking Live. Somebody's asking the question, oh man, Russell, it's $18,000 or $1,800 a month, either or. Right, for this program. Now, how many people sat back and thought, I wonder if they would offer a discount, right? I had somebody reach out to me and ask me that about my program just a little bit ago. Many people do. Wow, there's no payment plan? No, there's not. And here's the reason why. And this is exactly what I was trying to teach this person at Funnel Hacking Live. Okay? I was trying to teach, look, if I ask the question, how do I get a discount on this? Or maybe I can collaborate with 3 or 4 other people and we'll all split the cost. What are you immediately doing? You are sitting back and you are asking yourself, how, right? How can I stay in a place of poverty instead of paying for premium? Right? That's what you're doing, right? And one of the things that has changed my life, and I know I've said it like a billion times, but was changing the question. And instead of me asking the question, right? Because I've always wanted to be part of Russell's Inner Circle, and I'm so thankful to be part of it now. I am honored to the hilt to be a part of it. Okay? But I asked myself the question, how can I afford this? Right? Rather than, I wonder if you would give me a discount on Inner Circle. No, I even worked with him. Right? Next to him. I still Vox him all the time, but it's not what I am doing. I'm not sitting back asking the question, maybe he'll just let me in. Maybe he'll just let me get in sideways. Maybe I can get just this little, this brotherly side open door, straight onto the Inner Circle. Maybe I can find some kind of discount. No, are you freaking kidding me? No. What you do is you ask the question, instead of asking, how can I get a discount? First of all, take that question and burn it. Second of all, ask the question, how can I afford the most premium services on this planet? Okay? Answer that question. Change it up. Do it, whatever it is that gets you in flow, right? A little caffeine and dubstep for me, right? Whatever gets you in flow, go to a whiteboard or however it is that you brainstorm. I encourage you to write though. There's something to that, okay? And write out the question, how can I afford the most premium price ever? How can I afford that? And when you answer that question, you will be surprised, first off. Nothing will come to your head for a while. But do not move on. Let your head sit on the problem, okay? Most people will not sit on the problem long enough to hear an answer. They won't. They won't. And instead, they turn around and they start walking around going, oh, well, I can't afford that. I can't afford that. Oh, how he didn't offer a discount. There was no payment plan. Are you... If questions invite revelation, right? I have used this countless times in my business, you guys. It's not... Okay, anyway. It's not just over in the place of religion where I was taught it, okay? It applies to everything, okay? And so I ask myself specific questions and I do not move on when it is uncomfortable because I don't know the answer. I let my head stay there and I start asking instead, right? And I start brainstorming. Well, maybe I could do this. No, dang it, that's not going to work. Maybe I could do this. No. And it's usually as I start to brainstorm, little ideas will come to my head. I'm like, wait a second. What if I did this? Huh. And I follow that thread for a while. And I follow it. No. This part won't work with that. But you know what? This first half does. Let me take that first half. Okay, now we're working with this first half of that answer. Okay, now from this point, let me ask the question again. How do I afford the most premium services on the planet? Okay, now I got this far. Cool. Let's brainstorm. Let my head sit on the problem. It's uncomfortable. I don't know the answer. Gosh, I don't know the answer. I can't. What is this answer? And I'll sit there and I start thinking, right? And my head's going a million miles a minute. And I'm finding the spot. And then all of a sudden, I start finding more of the answer. Okay? Some people are asking too many questions that are the wrong questions. Okay? Just get cognizant of what those things are. Okay? So stop asking, how do I get a discount? How do I get a payment plan? How do I do this? And here's the reason why you ask the other question. How do I afford the most premium prices on this planet? When you do that, what it forces you to do is you end up creating an asset that pays for the most premium services on this planet. So then when you actually are through experiencing that most premium experience, you are left with both the experience and the asset. If I go the other way and I start asking the question, how do I get a discount? How do I get a discount? How do I get a discount? You find a way to get a discount because that's what you're asking, right? You were looking for that answer, so you find it. But then when you're done with it, usually you experience a discounted experience, right? You have a discounted experience for the thing that you paid for, and you are not left with an asset at the end of it, right? It's change the way you're asking this. Look at a different direction, okay? Anyway, so that's exactly what I asked myself. It was about a month ago. And I was like, okay, we've got this cash coming in. My funnels are doing well. I know what's wrong with them. I know I need to tweak certain things on them, right? How can I make the funnel better, right? How can I sell it better? How can I over deliver? How can I get this in front of more people, right? Those are the questions that I ask myself. But then I started asking myself the question, how do I get in Russell's inner circle like that, right? And I told you guys about a few episodes ago, I told you about this, right? And I ended up walking into this hotel room and this was the biggest thing that was on my mind. I was just, how can I give myself a raise today? And that was the question on my mind. And guess what? I answered the question because it was the question I allowed in my head, not, will Russell just let me get grandfathered into the inner circle because I sat next to him? Okay? Stupid question. Whoever said there's no such thing as a stupid question got straight A's in school. That's a stupid statement. That's not true at all. There are stupid questions. Okay? It's the question that you've taken no time to try and get the answer on your own. That's a stupid question. Okay, that's the definition of it. Okay, understand and call yourself out if you've been asking stupid questions. Okay, change the question, and you will get a different answer, and it will be uncomfortable, especially if you've never done this before. And if your life has been, if you've been living your life in a way where it's following the patterns of poverty, and you're sitting back, right, and instead of how, you know, and you're asking the question, why are things so expensive? People would spend that much money on a shirt, a pair of pants at the store. Oh my gosh, right? Or whatever it is, whatever your thing is. Okay, people would do this, and instead of asking that, right? I'm not saying you change your personality. I'm not saying that's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying change the freaking question. Okay. Start asking questions of wealth and start asking questions of good business and offer creation and delivering for the customer, right? And speed of cash. And so that is the question I am asking myself now. When I was standing, and here, this is the whole reason I'm doing this episode, okay? When I was standing on stage, right, at Funnel Hacking Live, and I was teaching, and I'm in my zone. I love that. If there's nothing else I could do the rest of my life, it would be to teach on stage. It's super fun. I feel like I'm really good at it, and I practice it a lot, and I get in my flow, and I help people. Anyway, it's a lot of fun for me, anyways, and had a lot of good results for other people with it too. And anyway, so I'm sitting there and I'm teaching on stage, and before I got on there, Russell said, he told me that I should stand up and I should call my shot. He said, dude, stand up and call your shot and say when you think this funnel that you built at the beginning of the year is actually going to get in the 2 Comma Club. And I was like, you want to put a date on it? He's like, yeah, it's going to be awesome. And I was like, holy crap. Yes, coach. Make it hard. So, okay. Publicly, you want me to state this? And he's like, yeah. I said, okay. All right. So what I did was I stood up and I taught my portion, and I loved it. It was anyway. I'm extremely proud of the way it went, and I delivered it, and it was awesome. And I knew I connected pieces for people. And then at the end of it, he wanted me to tell everyone what kind of the results were that I'd been getting. And for the last month, I'm just be totally honest with you, I've been too obsessed with the question, how do I develop these other assets? And so I haven't really been focusing as much on the webinar. I'll call myself out and pull myself to the carpet there, call myself to the carpet. So, but I went and, so anyways, I stood on stage, and without realizing what month it is, I publicly told everybody that I'm going to get my funnel into the 2 Comma Club for my second award. What? I got a spot already on my wall for it. That I was going to do it by August 1st. And I was like, oh my gosh, after the event, I mean, literally just like a few days ago, I was home. I didn't even think about it. I was like, wait, August 1st. I told everyone that. What month is it? Oh my gosh, it's freaking April. I got April, May, June, July. Oh, I got 4 months. And I started thinking through backwards, like, hey, okay, to get where I am for that. So we got to go like another 800 grand on this thing, ish. And that's like 8-9 grand a day. I was like, okay. That's a lot. I've never done that before. You know, I've made 8 grand in a day several times, many times. I made 9 grand, it's 10 grand a day, 11 grand a day, several. I've done that, but consistently, like, woof, that's a lot, and I'm excited for it. And so that is the question I'm asking myself. It is uncomfortable, and I'm brainstorming. I brainstormed out 4 different ways that I'm going to be able to do that over the next 4 months. And I only need one of them to hit to really get it. There are 4 Hail Marys. I'm super excited about it. But I got to pull 9 grand a freaking day in 4 months. I mean, every day for the next 4 months to hit it. So I'm going to kill myself trying to get it. I think I can. And my head is asking that question. How do I make 9 grand a day? Which basically for me means I need to be pitching anywhere from, 80 to 90 people a day. Which means I need to be getting about 300 registrants per day, which means that I spend about $1,500 a day in ads, which is totally doable. So that's just one method. And I was thinking back, like, just I'm reverse doing all the numbers, right? The problem is that when people ask the question, they don't do enough to try and answer the question on their own, out of their own head, right? New ideas don't come until you have literally exhausted all the current ideas you have, right? So as you're sitting there and you're on your whiteboard or whatever, I drastically encourage you all have one, right? And write stuff by hand, not just digitally. There's something, anyway, super, I don't know why, but I'm very convinced that is far more effective than just doing things digitally all the time for everything. Anyway, I got legal pads all over the place here. But anyway, I feel like the reason people will screw this up and this method up is because they'll sit back and they'll ask the question and then do nothing to try and solve it on their own, right? I got books all over the place. I'm reading, I'm grabbing it. Oh, this looks like that might have some answers for that. Boom. I just did that this morning, right? I'm reading some pieces of book for that. Oh, cool. Okay, next one. Boom. And I'm reading for purpose. I'm reading with the intent. I'm studying, I'm listening, I'm learning for the intent of answering the question, how do I do 9K a day, right? And that that is what I have been focusing on. So that's the question on my head. It is uncomfortable. I'm excited. It is a growing one. Regardless if I hit it, I know that the outcome will be better processes, right? Better performance for myself, discovering new ways to sell things that probably people in my market aren't doing, right? Cash, right? The byproduct is that I can't think of a thing that's going to be negative as I try and solve this problem. So that's what I'm trying to say. Upgrade your problem, right? Upgrade your question and ask the right ones. Make sure the questions you're asking are questions of wealth, not poverty. Make sure that you're trying to find ways. So that literally, like that's what I was saying before, is like I was like, how can I afford Russell's Inner Circle stuff? Well, guys, now I went and I created an asset in the last month. It pays me like at least $15,000 to $30,000 a month now, besides my funnel. Boom, 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 boom. Right? Crazy. I'm so excited. That's nuts. I removed my cost of goods for this funnel now, right? I don't take cash. Anyway, that's a whole different thing. And I went and I've already talked about that, but that's what I asked myself. So that's what I answered. And so now it's time for me to change the question and go focus on that. And I'm excited to do so. So anyway, that was an intense episode. Hey guys, thanks so much. Appreciate it. Again, this is my, I would love again to get some reviews from you guys on iTunes. That would be super helpful. And if you've had any piece of nuggets or any nugget or whatever, or something like that that's really helped you, I would love to hear about it. Whether if it's personally or that's what you put as the review on iTunes, or if you just tell someone else even. I really appreciate that. I am very serious about what I'm doing here, but it's a ton of fun, and really been enjoying this ride with you guys. So anyways, thank you so much. Appreciate it. I will continue to document both my processes and methods and why I'm doing what I'm doing, and as I move down this path. So anyways, guys, thank you so much. Appreciate it, and I will talk with y'all later. Boom. Thanks for listening. Hey, please remember to rate and subscribe. Hey, you want me to speak at your next event or mastermind? Let me know what I can share that would be most valuable by going to stevejlarsen.com and book my time now.